Hi, our name is Ruby and Sasha.
And you're watching the If Ever You're Listening podcast.
If you are looking for the next great group of singer-songwriters, then look no further than Ruby and Sasha. The London-raised, Brooklyn-based sister duo make dreamy, acoustic-driven tunes that dive deep into the emotional terrain of early adulthood. Despite the heavier, introspective nature of their songwriting, the music is beautifully light and embracing. I had the pleasure of sitting with Ruby and Sasha to discuss the steps they took to reach this point in their careers. They recently did their first live show together at the Pinkfrog Cafe in New York to celebrate the release of their debut single, Outdoor Shower. We talk about that and so much more in our conversation today. Ruby and Sasha have been crafting their songwriting and instrument playing skills since they were kids, so the debut of their official group has realistically been years in the making. Fans can expect their debut EP in the coming months and a new single very soon. Prepare to feel healed and swept up in their gorgeous, unrestrained harmonies. It was so much fun talking with Ruby and Sasha. They're so precious and sweet. I can't wait for you to watch this interview. Enjoy. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the If Ever You're Listening podcast. My name is Stanley C., your host, and today I'm joined by two fantastic artists, early stages in their careers, the phenomenal, harmony-filled, dynamic duo, Ruby and Sasha. Thank you so much, guys, for coming to the podcast.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us. We're excited.
There's a good amount to talk about. I speak to artists from a lot of different stages in their careers, and one of my favorite stages to talk to artists is from those early stages. So I feel like there's so much momentum, there's so much excitement, and there's music out. So we have a single, Outdoor Shower, which I was listening to a lot this week, kind of understanding the lyrics. There's layers to it, the harmonies to it, the production. But I want to know, how did we get here? So talk to me a little bit about what was both of your relationships like with music growing up. And I believe you grew up in London, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. We moved to London when we were really young, like before we were 1 years old. So we spent our entire childhood there, and music was always a really big part of our lives. Both of our parents are super musical, especially our dad. He was like always playing guitar, sometimes from morning till night. Um, so we were definitely influenced by that. And it's funny, some people, I think, in their families, it's kind of like, which sport are you gonna play as a kid? And for us, it was very like, which instrument are you gonna play?
Yeah.
So yeah, from a very young age, we were always playing music and in a super music filled household, and writing songs too was something we did from like
Yeah.
4 or 5 years
I
old.
think I wrote my first song when I was 5 years old, and it was called Mermaid, if you can believe it.
Love it.
Mermaid.
Yeah.
Did,
And
yeah, go for it.
yeah, and just I think we always like played music together and sung together and loved harmonizing together, and we were always in choir in school, so singing in harmony was a huge part of our life too.
So you said that's fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing. You said it was important to figure out what instruments were going to be your first. What were your first instruments, and what was that period like? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Did you like the challenge of learning instruments?
We both started on piano
Yeah.
when we were around 4 or 5, and I mean, of what I remember, I liked it. Yeah, it was always a very creative space. We weren't in, a lot of people start and do like different levels and grades, and it's like more structured. We had a very sort of gentle and creative piano teacher who encouraged us to like explore and kind of play what we wanted to play, which I think really informed just our creativity
Yeah.
and like the fun of it for us. So yeah, and then Sasha moved on to play guitar.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, Ruby, you said your first song was about mermaids. Sasha, do you remember your first song and what it was about?
I don't remember my first song, but I do remember finding a song like maybe decades later in a notebook that I had written down called Santa Claus Elf, that was about an elf who wanted to be something greater and bigger than just being an elf, but knew deep down that that was his life path. And it was actually really heartbreaking. It was like very deep for a little child.
Was the mermaid song, to go back to that song, was it also reflective of like a mermaid's life, or were you the mermaid in the song?
I think I was seeing a mermaid in the water in the song, and I was like enchanted by the mermaid and her magic.
Love this. Love this. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot
A
there.
lot there.
There's a lot there. We're gonna get to your songwriting because I want to hear about like the making of this EP you guys are going to release. But I feel like now we could talk about what was the period where you decided, okay, we're twins, we both love making music. Let's actually do this. Let's like be serious about doing this as a professional path. Do you remember those moments on when you decided? Did one of you try to convince the other, or was it pretty much you guys were on the same page from the start?
It was pretty organic,
Yeah.
I would say. We moved to the same place. We now both live in New York, like a couple years ago. So I think once we were in the same place, we both had songs that we had written, and it felt pretty organic to be playing them together and like working out harmonies and talking about changing lyrics and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it sort of just happened in like this waterfall effect of like we had the songs, we were singing them together, we were like, what's the next step, recording them, and like it kind of just came out of the fact that we were writing songs as like sort of our own like catharsis and like private creative outlet, and then it grew into something we wanted to do more of.
Yeah, we've always sort of written songs in a kind of private way, like even throughout high school and college, and we would show each other the songs we had written when we were together and harmonize together and have fun sort of tinkering around with them. And then it just got to a point where we were like, we have some great songs and we should probably record them at some point. And yeah, it just kind of happened naturally from there.
Outstanding. Outstanding. And I did do a little research. I found the fantastic TikTok page of you two doing a lot of great covers of like songs I'm a huge fan of, like Adrian Lenker and
Oh,
Sky.
great.
It's really cool to hear your influences, and then now knowing what your sound is and kind of how those two things are related. What music were you guys listening to growing up, and what influenced you in your songwriting and production choices?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we listened to such a wide range of music growing up because our dad listened to such a wide range of music. And I remember getting iPods when we were 7, and our dad just downloading his whole music library onto our iPods and being like, you can pick 1 or 2 albums that you want to have on there as well. And I believe we picked Alicia Keys. As I Am, and Taylor Swift debut way back
in 2007.
Self-titled.
Yes.
Nice.
Self-titled.
Yeah.
And
Way back. Way back.
We were listening to like the Gorillaz and like Diana Ross and the Supremes. Those are just like the things we had on CD that we would be playing all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like as we got older, like a lot of singer-songwriters were a big influence, and yeah, like Bon Iver was a huge influence for me in like middle school and high school as well.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And then how do you decide what songs to cover for your social media? Is it like I'm really enjoying this song right now, anything is like my thing, Ruby, let's do a cover? Or is it you guys decide beforehand, okay, we both really like this song, let's do that.
We kind of get together and we're like, what should we sing?
What are we in the mood to
What are we in the mood to
sing?
sing? And, occasionally Ruby will be like, let's do this song. And I'm like, I don't really know that song. So we kind of toss ideas out until we land on ones that we both know and can cover.
So cool. So cool. For the listener, yeah, check out their TikTok. This it will all be shared at the bottom of this interview.
Awesome.
Um, Outdoor shower. Let's get to the song of the moment. Loving this song. It's a deeply reflective song. It's dreamy. There's beautiful harmonies. I am curious within this question is going to be how do you decide who sings lead between the two of you when that moment comes? But talk to me about what motivated you to make this song and what do you want the listener to get out of it? It's a really beautiful song for especially this weather. It feels very light and despite its deep lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for saying all of that. I think we usually decide who's singing lead based on like who primarily wrote the song. So I primarily wrote that one. And yeah, that's sort of how it works. But
Yeah.
this was like very sort of inspired by like post grad sort of figuring out your life and that time period where you're kind of trying to figure out what's important, and you have your whole future ahead of you, so you can see yourself going in so many different directions. But yeah, I was on a trip with my friends and thinking about all of that, but also kind of realizing that like sometimes maybe it's okay to just like enjoy yourself and be present with your friends, and like yeah, just be gentle with where you're at in life and not try to force yourself to make decisions.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. One of my favorite lines in the song is about going to a town with a funny sound. I one love just the lyrical aspect of that song, but also the sentiment. It's like, let's
Mm-hmm.
just pick a town that sounds cool and just go there. Like, let's not, don't think too much about it. It's such a good message. So I think that's first for the debut single. I'm like, okay, they're going to be like a lyrically important group, plus a beautiful sounding group, and that's like a really cool combination to have. It reminded me of early the Staves music and all the stuff that they've done as a trio and now duo. It's really really cool. Talk to me about the EP. You guys are working on an EP. Do we have a timeline as much as you can share?
Yeah.
What is this process looking like for you two?
Yeah, so the EP is fully recorded already, and now we're just releasing it. We're doing a sort of track by track release, and our next track will be out right at the end of this month. So, in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We're super excited. I would say the whole EP sort of deals with similar themes of finding yourself and struggling with uncertainty and dealing with those similar ideas throughout, but I think we have some fun spins on it as well.
Yeah.
Apologies if you can hear my neighbor's dog barking in the background.
You're
I
good.
promise she's really sweet.
Was-
um,
yeah.
but yeah, we're super excited to share
Yeah.
all the songs with everyone and hopefully play some shows and yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be, yeah, I feel like the songs all work really well together, so I'm excited for when they're all finally out and people can like listen to it as a full piece all together. Yeah, it'll be really cool.
The journalist in me has to ask this follow-up question just to get as many details as humanly possible. Do we have a number of tracks for this EP, or is that a secret until it's fully released?
I think we can share. There are 4 tracks.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything should be out by around the fall.
So next single, next couple weeks, guys, end of June. This will be out before then. So it may be very close actually to when it comes out. So very, very exciting. Can't wait for that. My next question, you kind of answered the question, Sasha, about touring. How is the tour or how are the upcoming shows going to work for you guys? Are you going to do a lot of stuff in New York? Do you see yourself doing more East Coast stuff, maybe cross national? I know you recently did a show for Outdoor Shower. What was that experience like, and how is the live element so far going for you guys?
The live element has been fun. Like,
Yeah.
I think maybe a little bit daunting as well. It was sort of our first time singing live since maybe high school.
Yeah.
So it was a really big step for us to branch out and do that. And we had a really fun time playing the show, and definitely think we'll be playing more shows in New York mostly.
Yeah.
I think for now we're kind of sticking to New York and Brooklyn, and then maybe we'll expand up and down the East Coast at some point soon too. But yeah, we're excited to keep playing and meeting other singer-songwriters too based in Brooklyn has been really fun, and just getting to know other artists has been an awesome aspect of playing live and going to shows, and that's been really rewarding. And also just getting to sing together. Like, usually when we sing together, it's just us.
Yeah.
And having, like, letting other people in on our little thing feels like
fun.
we're kind of like sharing a secret, which is
Yeah.
fun.
I love that. Well, the listeners know I'm in northern New Jersey, so I'll be at one of these shows definitely. I would love to see this. I feel like you're seeing the stabs at like year one, before it like turns up, and you guys have all the talent, so it's a very, very exciting time. So excited for you.
Thank you.
Um, what are you're answering it, but I want to get a kind of a clear answer from both of you. What are you both most looking forward to for the rest of 2026? From your perspective, there's music coming out, there's live performances coming out. What is the thing kind of energizing you and making you the most excited for the rest of the year?
That's a good question. I'm definitely excited for when the full EP comes out. I just think, like, I don't know, of my friends who have gotten to listen to it, I know they're like so excited for everyone to be able to listen to it. And yeah, I feel like it's a great way to connect with people. Like, it's sort of things I wouldn't normally share in like casual conversation about the way I feel and my outlook. So it's a really sort of special, unique way to like share a part of myself with even strangers that like I would never normally do in my daily life. And yeah, I think that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, it's so fun to receive feedback from people too, and from people who I know from my past who come and message me and are listening to it. That's so much fun, and yeah, really a way to connect with people and share an artistic part of ourselves that not everyone has seen from us before, and doing it together, there's something so special about that too. And I'm definitely excited to play more shows and just get more comfortable with it too, since I think it's the first one, it's always like a little bit daunting, but I'm excited to just get more comfortable and keep doing it and having fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for when the EP comes out and your fans are gonna like have their own favorites. That's always such a fascinating period. Um,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I can't wait to find out. I can't wait for you to experience that period. That's such a fun period. They like songs create their own personalities amongst fan bases, and even with four, it's gonna be four different groups of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that concludes my Ruby and Sasha specific questions. So thank you guys for answering those questions and opening yourself up to the listeners. Now I close out with we're on the If Ever You're Listening podcast, so I have these If Ever You're Listening questions that I ask all the guests. There's a group of questions and I kind of pick from them for the specific guests. So I have four questions for you. The first one is about super easy. Very curious what both of your answers will be. What are you listening to these days? What is on Ruby's playlist and what is on Sasha's playlist in June 2026?
It's a great question.
It's a great question. I've been listening to, especially with the warm weather, like a lot of Waxahachie, Samia. I feel like we listen to a lot of the
I
same
know,
music,
I was like,
so
the answers
it's
are going to be
probably
the same. Slow Pulp. I love Slow
Really
Pulp.
excited for their next
They're about to
album,
drop.
which yeah, it's gonna drop soon. I like can't wait for that.
I've also been listening to Fight Master's new album a lot in the past. It just came out, and it's really really good. And I feel like it kind of is combining like pop, but also there's some folky elements to it too, and really strong lyrically. I really have been loving that.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I haven't heard that project yet, so I just added that to my list. But everybody.
Yes, give it a listen.
Um, what do you thank you guys for answering that? What do you think is one of the most undervalued or maybe just underappreciated parts of being a musician that non-musicians uh do not understand, don't fully understand?
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think just maybe how unique the writing process is to each musician. I was talking to a musician friend of mine, and we were just talking about how we write, because for us, I think similarly, we get kind of like visited by the songwriting fairy, and no matter the time or place, like that's when the song is being written, because it's just coming through you. And I think there are other people who really sit down and with their instrument and they're like, I'm gonna write a song, figure out a chord progression that I like, or figure out a riff, and base their song around that. Whereas I think some people who might not make music at all might think it might be a more linear process, or just a more standard process for everyone. But I think it really is unique to the person and unique to every song.
Each song, yeah.
I'm gonna use that. The songwriter fairy is my favorite phrase today. That is insane. But so true. Do you guys find for you two does inspiration sometimes come at the same time or is always it's hitting you at completely different hours of the day, even when you're together? Because I imagine you sometimes at this stage, and correct me if I'm wrong, you'll write together on a song. Or is it always one's bringing this idea to the other?
It is usually the latter, but I think I've become like more intrigued about trying to do it together and what that would look like.
Yeah.
But I do think because of the way that we both operate, usually we're not together when it happens. A lot of times we'll go to each other and be like, I have 3 lines of a song and I don't know what it is, and then we'll work from there.
Yeah. But even then it's almost like Sasha will bring part of a song, I'll listen to it, and then like on my own time I'll kind of think about adding to it and like then bring that to her. It doesn't often happen at the same time for whatever reason.
There's something I think about being alone too, and just like it's almost meditative of just like letting the thoughts sort of pass through you. Or I'll be in the randomest places too, like anytime I'm on an airplane, it's like
Just
all of a sudden
channeling.
All of a sudden, notebook out, voice memo in the bathroom.
That's funny. Oh wow, that's great. It's like don't be on the window seat, because you're like I have to get out of here, guys. Yeah, they're like, oh, she really needs to go to the bathroom. You're just singing,
and I'm singing.
Yeah, that's a funny visual. That's a cool visual. Okay, so cool, so interesting. For my next question, it's about, and this is a relatively recent question in the length of the pod, just because it's now coming up so often in music circles and conversations, but I'm curious about your take on it. Artificial intelligence in the music industry, from your perspective as artists, do you see it as something that's more of a tool or a competition, or maybe a collaborator when it comes to music making, or a non-factor, kind of a fourth option?
I don't think it factors into our music pretty much at all. We have never used it, and
No, I don't really
imagine
plan to.
But I think, I'm not super big on these AI music artists that are coming out and like getting representation and record deals as AI artists. it is confusing.
It's very
to me.
disconcerting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just, again, like, I think like the connecting with other people is what makes making music so special. So yeah, I'm like, what is the point if there's not even that like human connection happening, you know?
Yeah, it's like the human lyrics make me feel more human because you guys are like describing emotions. I think you were saying this, Ruby, like you'll make a song that is about an emotion that sometimes you're not comfortable sharing publicly, but you're comfortable writing it in a song and then sharing it that way. And that I feel like that also helps the listener. It's like, oh man, I couldn't understand why I was feeling this way, but this song, that now I understand why I need to like why I go out with my friends and why I go on these vacations. It's actually to heal a part of me that was digged so deep in my subconscious that I'm so upset about. So
Yeah.
imagine if like an AI wrote the song. It's like, what does that say about me? I don't know.
Right, exactly.
I'm a robot. So that's a good point. That's a really good point. My last piece of advice, I may change this actually for you because we're so early. I'll give you the real question and then I'm going to give you an alternate option. But maybe you guys could take one answer, one answer the other. So the original question is, if you were to meet, um, let's say it's a duo, because in your case, I want you it to be somebody that is in your position. Usually I say 10 years in the past. So, um, an artist 10 years in the past, or maybe in their first year, what advice would you give them to carry on and to continue doing what they're doing? But because you are in your first year, kind of what are some things you would want your career, yourselves to be in 10 years? Like, what are some things that you want to keep that, whether that's like values, the music, the songwriting? So you can kind of answer it in either way. In the past, maybe like high school versions of you, or further in your future versions of yourself.
I feel like for the past is hard because, yeah, again, we are pretty fresh as we are now, but I do think, just to be developing that songwriting muscle and that skill and
Yeah.
to practice your instrument and to just develop your skills is something as a teenager I don't think I was that invested in. Um, and now I'm like, I wish I had done that
Yeah.
to set myself up better now. So I'd say probably just that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm also like happy that I wasn't putting out the music I was making when I was 16.
Yeah,
Good
we
point.
sort of needed
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
I'm glad we let it cook a little
to
bit.
marinate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the
Yeah,
archives. It's in the archives.
It's in the archives.
Exactly. And for the future, I mean, definitely just continuing to write songs that almost like help me process or like surprise myself sometimes with my songwriting. I really want to be able to continue that and, you know, experiment a little bit more with the songs I'm writing. Yeah, and like it's just I feel very lucky to like have something in my life that like helps me process emotions and is like such an outlet for me. So that's honestly what I hope I just always have and will have in 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ruby and Sasha, thank you both so much for coming to the If Ever Listening podcast. Good luck with the new music coming out in a couple of weeks, but also most importantly, the EP, the live shows. Once, in a couple of years, if an album comes, which I really, really hope it does, come back to the pod. Happy to have you back on. And wishing you good luck and good fortune with all the new music to come.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
It was so
much.
great talking to you too.
Yeah.